Hello, we're the PNC Newsgirls, Maya.
And Maya, reading the news 6 days a week because you're too lazy.
Canada, July 22nd, 2023.
Rollywood. Okay. The history of Perusa shows, with particular clarity and distinctness, that it is the result of the moral virtues of the people and not of their economic circumstances that a state is formed. It is only under the protection of those virtues that economic activities can be developed, and the latter will continue to flourish until a time comes when the creative political capacity declines. Adolf Hitler.
Alright. And another reminder that it is our quarterly donation drive. We need $100 this quarter to pay for annual Dominion registration and quarterly server costs. Thank you for your donations. Donation methods and addresses have been updated. Bitcoin and Monero addresses will change quarterly. Amazon gift cards are now accepted. Alright, on to the quick column. How miserly big banks are stiffing state savers. They've made billions by hiking loan repayments thanks to Fed rate hike, while refusing to increase pitiful 0.15% yields on rainy day funds. I have absolutely no idea what any of that means. JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America this week posted profits much higher than expected as they cashed in on the Federal Reserve's relentless interest rate hikes, which have allowed them to increase the cost of taking out a loan, as well as the repayments on existing loans.
Okay.
There's one cat gif on the page that Maya is completely obsessed with.
It's a great cat. It's adorable. You love it too.
Yes.
Don't try to deny it.
Of course I like it.
Anyways, ex-ABC News reporter James Gordon Meek facing minimum 5 years in... inappropriate images of children case following guilty plea. Disgraced former ABC News reporter James Gordon Meek is facing at least 5 years in prison after pleading guilty to inappropriate children photos in a Virginia federal court Friday.
Okay, Israeli forces killed 2 Palestinian teens in occupied West Bank. Israeli forces have killed 2 teenage Palestinian boys in the occupied West Bank, Palestinian officials said on Friday. The latest bloodshed amid continued violence in the region. Right.
Okay. Kyiv nationalizes bank owned by London-based tycoons. The Ukrainian government has approved the
nationalization.
Thank you. Of one of the country's top commercial banks, Sense Bank, which was previously known as Alpha Bank Ukraine, the finance ministry announced on Friday.
It sounded like you were trying to say NASA the whole time, and I found it absolutely hilarious.
I wasn't.
Alright, full column. FBI wrongfully searched foreign spying database for information about U.S. Senator State Judge. The court's opinion said the searches into the 3 officials did not meet the standard and failed to follow FBI policy. Some violations of the querying standard conceded with failure to follow an FBI policy that requires prior deputy director approval to use sensitive query terms, e.g. identifiers of domestic public officials, domestic political candidates, and members of the new media, academics, and religious organizations or persons prominent within them, the court's opinion said.
Yeah.
That was long. That was felt long.
School board prohibits students from dressing like animals. And progressiveness is... What is that word?
Progressives.
Pounce. Well, that makes... Okay, no fairies, basically. Florida's Brevard County School Board recently passed a new dress code policy that prohibits students from dressing like animals. Citing complaints by fellow students about furries, the board forbade attire emulating non-human characteristics. Cat ears and dog collars, for example. People will just start wearing chokers.
Media blackout. Corporate media ignore Hunter Biden revelations. Because of course they do. Despite the high-profile nature of the event, most corporate news media outlets ignored it. The New York Times, Washington Post, and Wall Street Journal (WSJ) did not cover the release of the document, although the WSJ did run an opinion piece.
Okay. California schools
Superintendent
is thrown out of meeting after opposing new rule forcing teachers to notify parents if a student asks to identify as a different gender. Tony Thurmond, the California State Superintendent of Schools, was booted from the Chino Valley Unified School Board meeting on Thursday after going over his allotted time to vigorously attack the policy. Over 300 people filled the main hall at Don Lugo High School in Chino, California, to weigh in at the hearing, which is marked with hostility as Thurmond clashed with the school board's president, Sandra Shaw.
Forget bears. Now coked out sharks might lurk off Florida coast.
Who's giving them coke?
After Americans learned about the 1985 incident of a black bear that went on a coke-fueled carnivorous bloodfest in the comedy horror film Cocaine Bear earlier this year, it was only a matter of time before entertainment companies produced content about the possibility of a cocaine-fueled sharks off Florida's coast.
I still want to know who's giving them cocaine.
Tom, the blowfish, I don't know. And the University of Florida Environmental Science.
It's his last name.
Oh, okay. Tracy Fenara conducted a series of tests to see whether sharks off Florida's coast may have ingested bales of cocaine ditched by drug smugglers en route to the U.S., according to Live Science. That's just funny.
Who's giving them cocaine? Someone was like, let's just give the sharks cocaine!
It's monkey call.
Okay.
So this is the story with the adorable gift.
Yes. Okay. Yellow Corp Tucker goes ballistic at bosses after firms stopped making contributions to workers. How do you say that?
What?
How do you say that?
Pension?
Fund. As $1.2 billion debt leaves it on the brink of bankruptcy. The video, believed to be from earlier this week, shows furious workers in a depot. What? I'm dying.
Depot.
After hearing that the company has failed to make a $50 million payment for employee benefits.
Doctors Without Borders say its aid workers attacked on Sudan. Armed men attacked a Doctors Without Borders group in Sudan as the aid workers delivered medical supplies to a hospital in the capital. The medical charity said on Friday amid months-long fighting between the nation's army and paramilitary forces.
Okay. Not Kamala Harris again.
No.
Kamala Harris makes stuff up about Florida's new curriculum in Jacksonville speech. Kamala Harris traveled to Jacksonville, Florida to bash the state's new curriculum on Black history. In place of facts, extremists in Florida want to erase our full history and censor our truths, Harris said Friday morning. Will she talk about the slaves her ancestors owned?
No.
Also, apparently, gaffe means like a mistake, like a speech mistake.
Okay.
So
Good to know.
good to know.
Alright. Charlie Russell fired from the spa job. Co-workers upset about increasingly suspicious kidnapping story. Charlie Russell has officially disappeared from the payroll of her Alabama job.
Wait, it's a her? Huh? It's a her?
Yeah. Charlie instead of Charlie. Charlie. The owner of the Woodhouse Spa in Birmingham told the Post that she's been canned and that her steaming coworkers are upset about their former colleagues' increasingly suspect kidnapping account.
Birmingham sounds like the palace.
Oh yeah, it does.
Worker column. India seeking to electrify South Asia. What? India is considering exporting electricity to Southeast Asia countries through Thailand and neighboring Myanmar. Reuters reported on Friday, citing industry sources and officials in the power ministry.
Okay. Why would I vote? Cambodians quietly question elections' value. Following the court-ordered dissolution of the opposition Cambodian National Rescue Party ahead of the last national election in 2018, exiled activists called for an election boycott to highlight the lack of genuine electoral competition.
Okay. Serial bird feeder fined 3,000. What? They fed a bird? And a 67-year-old man was issued a 4,800 whatever US. Oh, I don't. What? What currency is it? It has the dollar symbol, but it's got an S. What currency is that?
I don't know.
$3,600 fine in Geylang. Yeah, that's the best I can pronounce it. Singapore on Friday after he repeatedly ignored warnings prohibiting the feeding of pigeons in the area, according to local media. Let him feed the pigeons. Singaporean National V. We're done. I don't feel like pronouncing that name.
All eyes on Turkey as olive oil production in Europe threatened by drought.
Why was it too olive?
Because olive and olive oil.
Oh, okay.
Well, olive.
She said olive oil, olive.
While olive and olive oil output in Europe, especially in Spain, is in crisis due to the drought, Turkey aims to boost its market share with establishing new production and export strategies, Anadolu agency reports.
Okay.
Alright, that is all. Thank you for listening to Mia.
And Maya, read the Polo Central homepage. Do all the good things and donate to the quarterly donation thing.
And come back on Monday for more serious news.